The night of August 12th to 13th, 1975, was unusually clear over Alamogordo, a small town in the desert region of New Mexico. Locals often stepped outside at night to watch the starry sky, especially during meteor showers. U.S. Air Force Sergeant Charles L. Moody, a paratrooper with years of military discipline and precision, was one of those stargazers. He was not someone prone to fantasy or speculation. Around 1:15 a.m., standing near his car on the outskirts of town, Moody was watching meteors when a strange light on the horizon caught his eye. It wasn't just another shooting star. It was too bright, moved far too smoothly, and began descending slowly. Within seconds, Moody realized he was witnessing something that defied logic. A glowing metallic disc-shaped object hovered about 300 meters above the ground. Moody estimated the craft to be about 50 feet long and 18 to 20 feet wide. It slowly rotated on its axis, emitting a soft, bluish glow. Suddenly, the disc changed trajectory and began moving in his direction. Feeling threatened, Moody quickly got into his car, but the engine wouldn't start. A high-pitched, metallic buzzing sound filled the air, almost as if it vibrated inside his skull. Through a window on the craft, Moody saw silhouettes, vaguely human in shape, but too slender and oddly proportioned. Then came silence. At that moment, Moody began to feel numbness creeping through his body, starting at his fingertips and rising. He managed to glimpse the object shooting upwards into the night sky, and then everything went black. Moody regained consciousness inside his car. The area around him was silent again, eerily so. He turned the ignition, and the engine started immediately. Still shaken, he drove straight home. Once there, he was stunned to see that it was already 3 a.m. He couldn't believe that an hour and a half had passed. It felt like only a few minutes. The next morning, he felt pain in his lower back. Over the following days, a rash appeared across the lower half of his body. His skin became irritated, itchy, and hypersensitive. A doctor could find no clear cause, but suggested Moody try self-hypnosis to recall any possibly forgotten memories. Weeks of hypnosis practice slowly brought terrifying memories back. Moody recalled that after his body went numb, two beings approached his car. They were around 6 feet tall and wore tight black suits. Their heads were hairless, their eyes large and unmoving. They had no visible ears. Moody remembered struggling against them in a brief skirmish, then blacking out. He awoke lying on the floor inside the craft, his body unbearably heavy. A different being stood nearby. This one, clearly the leader, was shorter, around 5 feet, and wore a silver-white suit. Its skin was light gray, and its facial features were strange. Hairless head, pronounced brows, small ears, a tiny nose, and very thin lips. The leader didn't speak aloud but communicated telepathically. "If you remain calm, we will let you go." Moody agreed. The being strapped 2 cylinders to Moody's back, and the paralysis vanished. Moody was led through the ship. The air had a sweet, chemical scent, and everything was eerily silent. In one chamber, he saw a bizarre device, a metal rod surrounded by a glass dome with 3 openings. One end looked like a sphere, while the other bore a T-shaped symbol. The leader told him that their command center was located miles away from Earth. They hinted that open contact with humanity would happen, but not for another 20 years, until people were ready. The leader explained that Moody would forget this entire experience for 2 weeks, and then the memories would begin to return. Shortly afterward, Moody lost consciousness again. Moody did forget everything for exactly 2 weeks. Then, memories came flooding back. He told his story to researchers and psychologists. Charles McQuiston, one of the authors of this psychological stress evaluator, confirmed that Moody's story showed no signs of deception and was consistent with extreme psychological stress. However, another investigator, Jim Lorenzen, pointed out inconsistencies. At one point, Moody claimed the alien base was 400 kilometers from Earth, later saying it was 6,000 miles away. Lorenzen also questioned how the alien assistants could be both powerful during the abduction and passive once inside the ship. Despite the skepticism, Moody's story became one of the most well-documented and discussed UFO encounters of the 1970s. Even decades later, it continues to fascinate ufologists, researchers, and skeptics alike.